The day Mira Kapoor discovered she was pregnant, she packed 3 suitcases and tried to run away. Now normally, finding out you're pregnant is supposed to be a happy moment. People cry, people celebrate, people call their families. Mira did none of those things. Instead, she stared at the test for a full minute before asking one very important question. How fast can I leave the country? Because according to every doctor, magazine, and rich auntie in Mumbai, her husband couldn't have children. And not just couldn't, wouldn't. The whole country knew Vihaan Malhotra, CEO of Malhotra Global, was infertile, which meant one thing. If Mira was pregnant, somebody had explaining to do. The problem, Mira hadn't cheated. The baby was actually Vihaan's, and somehow that made it worse. But before we get to that disaster, let's go back 6 months. Back to the day Mira's father decided she was finally useful. It happened on a Tuesday. Mira remembered because Tuesday was usually the day her father ignored her. Mira, sit down. Those 4 words were enough to make her suspicious. Her father never voluntarily invited her in. Not unless something terrible was about to happen. Mira walked in and noticed 2 things. First, Rajiv Kapoor looked stressed. Second, Ria was sitting comfortably beside him, which meant this conversation was already going to end badly. Ria Kapoor was her half-sister, the favorite child. The golden child, the daughter who could do no wrong. If Mira got 98%, her father asked where the missing 2% went. If Ria remembered her own birthday, everyone celebrated. Mira sat down. What happened? Rajiv pushed a file toward her. Read it, never a good sign. Mira opened the file, then blinked again, then looked up, then looked back down, then looked up again. No, you haven't finished reading. I don't need to, Mira, no. She pushed the file back across the table. Absolutely not. Because the file contained exactly what she thought. A marriage contract, and not just any contract. A marriage contract with Vihaan Malhotra. If you had eyeballs and internet, you knew who Vihaan Malhotra was. Business magazines, financial newspapers, television interviews. He was 32, owned more companies than most people owned shirts, and had the personality of a glacier. The man looked like he smiled twice a year. Once by accident, once for taxes. Mira looked at her father. You want me to marry him? I need you to marry him. Ah, there it was. The difference between a request and a sacrifice. Why me? Nobody answered, which was answer enough. Mira slowly turned toward Ria. Why not her? Ria immediately looked offended. Rajiv cleared his throat. Ria has other plans. Of course she did. Ria always had plans, dreams, choices, options. Mira usually got leftovers. What happened to the company? She asked. Silence. Interesting. The company is in trouble, isn't it? More silence. Mira laughed. And honestly, that laugh sounded a little broken because suddenly everything made sense. The sudden meeting, the contract, the urgency, the billionaire, the desperation. Kapoor Medical was sinking. And Mira was now part of the rescue package. You're selling me. Rajiv's expression hardened. Watch your words. Am I wrong? No answer. Right. Mira nodded slowly. Got it. For some reason that hurt less than she expected. Maybe because disappointment required expectations. And Mira had stopped expecting things from her father years ago. She signed the contract that evening. Not because she wanted to. Not because she trusted anybody. But because after 24 years of being second choice, she was tired. And honestly, the alternative wasn't much better. At least billionaires came with air conditioning. Later that night, lying on her bed, Mira did what any responsible bride would do. She researched her future husband. 3 hours later, she had learned several things. Vihaan Malhotra was rich, terrifyingly rich, annoyingly attractive, suspiciously intelligent, and according to every article she found, completely infertile. Mira sat upright. Wait, she opened another article, same thing, then another, same thing, then another, still infertile. Slowly, very slowly, a smile appeared, then another, until she looked mildly insane. No children, she whispered. She grabbed her calculator. 5 minutes later, she was running financial projections. No pregnancy, no heirs, no family drama, unlimited money, a giant house, a husband who would probably leave her alone. Mira stared at the numbers, then at Vihaan's photograph, then back at the numbers, and for the first time all day, she felt optimistic. Maybe this wasn't a tragedy, maybe this was a promotion. Unfortunately, Mira was about to learn a very important lesson. Just because a man can't have children doesn't mean he's harmless. And Vihaan Malhotra, harmless was the last thing he was. 6 months later, none of those tidy projections mattered. Because the one outcome she ruled out was the one staring back at her. A baby. His baby, the impossible baby. She thought of his cold eyes and her stomach turned. What would a man like that do when the impossible happened? That was the question that sent her reaching for the suitcases. 3 suitcases, one impossible secret. And nowhere truly safe to run. Somewhere across the city, his phone buzzed with the news. And for the first time in years, Vihaan Malhotra went very still. Whatever happened next, the quiet arrangement was over. The convenient marriage had become the most dangerous thing in both their lives. And Mira Kapoor, second choice her whole life, was suddenly the center of everything. Her story was only just beginning.